Well, I'm live right now. This is Jim the Keys bartender coming to you from. I hope the volume's picking up here. Do you let let me move this, and I guess I'm just using this green screen here. I'm here. 2023 is about to be closed, um, to close and turn into 224. Uh, Not much to say. Beginning of the year, bartending at the place I've been bartending for years, and father gets ill at the end of January, and we God, is impromptu. You can tell this. So we keep vigil with him when he think he had the interstitial lung disease. It was going on for years, and um, luckily my brother and sister kept me in the loop for that, and we stood vigil until he passed away. It was the end of January, and then we had a memorial service in March. And to give a brief uh, description of it, me and the family fly up to Baltimore for the memorial service. Little hectic, but what are you going to do? It's a memorial service, right? Very sad. Uh, you have to come up with anytime you have to think about that part of someone's life when you have to say farewell. It's very, especially when you're close to them, like my father. It was traumatic. It's weird because you're 59 years old and you're saying goodbye to a parent. A lot of people lost their parents when they're very young. Here we are, we're used to having them around. And he goes from being a strong, vibrant person to being ill. And then he gets COVID and passes away. And what do you say about a man who 80 years of his life he lived in the last for my whole life he was the one that cared for us, even though we're grown. So we have that memorial service. We come back uh, the first week of March. I would try to go back to doing my regular routine work, going back to work bartending. We had a farewell spin class for a coworker of mine at the gym I work at the hospital, and during the class, my heart goes into a arrhythmia, and it triggers a cardiac event where I have a heart attack, and I just go faint on the handlebars, and I'm clipped in. It's one of those bikes, if you're familiar with spin bikes, but my shoes are clipped into the bike, and pass out on the bike. I somehow become unflicked, unflicked, unflipped, unflicked. I was clicked. So I roll off the bike onto the floor, gone, gone. And the all code blue was a cardiac event. And fortunately, I'm in the hospital. The gym's in the hospital, obviously. If you're avid listeners, you know that. And my the person directly to the right of me is a nurse, and she attends to me first, and then they bring in other people, nurse from the human resources or employee health comes in, and she runs the code team. And for 7.5 minutes, they perform CPR. And eventually, the EMTs show up. They had an AED there, and it was in the 7.5 minute when it found a detectable rhythm, and they applied the panels, and it brought me back, and I ended up being flown, taken to the emergency room at the hospital I worked, and then being taken by helicopter to the mainland in Miami to the hospital where they monitored me and eventually put a defibrillator in right here and determined that it could have been a loose plaque that fell in and blocked an artery and triggered the arrhythmia, but they still, with being cautious, they put the defibrillator in and put me on medication. And eventually they found a blockage in near the lower chamber of my heart and an artery there. And in August, they put a stent in. And I was out of work for like a month and a half. And I've been working recovery, doing a little different eating, watching my diet, less butter, less meat, more vegetables and fruit, obviously less coffee. And eventually I had a stent replaced and the blockage cleared. The interesting thing about that is I feel more vibrant after that, and a little more energetic when I'm working out. It takes me a little higher to go up. So with all that things that occurred, my father passing, my heart incident, the changing kind of determination that I'm not a kid anymore, I don't know if it made me feel as if I needed a change of setting in my place of work, which cardiac incident, it does trigger a lot of soul searching in people, like especially people that were thinking that they could behave like a younger person. Previous years, and during the summer, I went on a hike up a mountain, and it was about 2 years prior to the cardiac incident, and I had a hard time climbing, and it probably was the blockage working, and I wasn't getting enough blood to my heart, and it was making me, I couldn't catch my breath. Now I seem to be have a lot more, but I still am cognizant that these things could occur. With the defibrillator in, it's supposed to only kick in when my heart goes into AFib, and that hasn't done that while I'm working out. And I work at a pretty moderate pace, but I don't want to spend all my time talking about that. I want to talk about how I felt several years before I had stopped drinking. So you figure that being a big life change, and then the heart attack, and all the similar things makes you examine what we're doing. And I guess the incident and all the medications, I'm not used to being on medication. First time in my life to be regular on medication for the rest of my life. I think I needed a change of pace because I was getting too acclimated to the same routine at work, and I needed a little more of a challenge. Not going into work, experiencing the similar thing every day, the same people, and it has it gave me a shock that I could have not been here. I'm not, who would have been dead. I don't know what happens afterwards. I'm a praying man, but we all know there's no guarantees in life. I think the people of faith, they believe wholeheartedly in something. They know what's going to happen, even though they haven't been there. But I'm unsure. So what I know I can control is what I'm doing when I'm alive. And I knew I needed a change of pace. So it all came to head at work during a confrontation with someone I care about at work. But I knew that I needed a change. I was getting frustrated with taking out on the people closest to me at work and sometimes at home. So I figured I needed to leave. And I made a snap judgment. And in retrospect, it was the right judgment because I would have stayed longer. So I had quit in mid-October. right in the height of the slow season. So there was nobody looking for employment, but I was applying to every place I had uh, heard rumor that they were looking for someone, and I didn't hear back. I didn't hear back. I didn't hear back. And then November, I started hearing back, and there are these establishments and uh, businesses, the bars and restaurants and resorts that are looking to ramp up their employees. So sending out the resumes and all those things, they all started coming back in November, getting calls for interviews, and then December hit the high point when I interviewed uh, 7 places. Almost all of them offered me a position in the future. Some, 2 of them, one I started and it wasn't a fit. It wasn't. It's not their fault. They just need someone who probably a little less experienced than I am, that was willing to work at a little slower pace in their resort, but wasn't something I could probably do. I needed to be a little more active, or a lot more active. So I ended up getting offers at multiple places, and their uh, some of the start times are a little further out. 2 of them are right after the new year, so that's where I'm going to be working. Hopefully that will cure those doldrums that I had from that close call. So 2023 was very eventful. I know it's very selfish of me to just think of myself, but if I'm not doing anything to really improve myself or engage my interests, then I won't be worth anything to the people around me. And a lot of those things is even has to do with the podcast. I got to spend a little more time thinking about my content and doing a service for it. But this is for those people. I don't know how I look to you right now. I'm a little pale. We've had a bunch of rainy weather leading up to the new year. It was a very hot summer, and I guess I did have the color then. So I don't know what my appearance will give an image of, if it jives well with me feeling as if being able to say, I'm doing well and looking forward to 2024. And I hope you all are too. Thank you.